Hey guys, we're back here in Muskoka, and sorry it's taken us so long to get to another video. We've been a little bit busy, but that's all right. During our time over this summer, we got to talking a lot about this one particular dock that we did. It was a branded dock, and you know, it's kind of the one that haunts us, and we just kind of realized that not all of the mistakes that were made were ours, but definitely some were.
I guess our first mistake was off the hop, not probably laying out the deliverables as we should have, or being more clear and precise into what was expected of us, I guess.
So we didn't ask enough questions before we showed up on shoot day. We kind of just thought, you know, it was going to be a basic shoot, a couple interviews, some B-roll, and then we're out. But when we got there, in the hands of the actual, you know, people involved, things changed quite dramatically.
Yeah, it went, it changed very quickly. We were able to adapt and flow with it during the shoot, so that went fine. But in hindsight, it would have been better to, you know, clearly list our deliverables, you know, what was expected of us. And, you know, part of this can fall on the agency as well. I think they're at fault for a bit of this, but we still work with them. They're great people. So that's not the point. I guess the point is we just all could have been more prepared. But in hindsight, sometimes people don't know what they want until you show up with a camera, and then it changes, right? So clearly using like something like Milanote, which we use a ton, to like outline your deliverables, go back in there after the fact, and you know, if you're on revision 18, which I think we got to, you know, you can clearly outline in there, everybody can see what you're doing, and you can package it nicely. Whereas we were kind of, as you said, a little loosey-goosey with when we went into the shoot, which was a problem for us in the end.
Yeah, and so that brings up another thing, which is after the shoot, you know, where do you go from there, especially when you're preparing your package and your deliverables? And one of the things that you need to be clear about are revisions. I mean, this client didn't have a lot of money, so we tried to work with them with their budget, but you know, we even kind of outlined like 2 revisions, and that turned into many more. Like I said, 7 months worth. And so we made the mistake of not being a little bit more heavy-handed or iron fist when it came to revisions.
It's up to the agency to deal with that aspect of it. It should be outlined and clearly stated, and you as a filmmaker, the agency should know what your revision policy is and rates, and they should relay that to their client. So again, I'm not saying it was entirely our fault, but everybody could have worked better on that. The kicker for this whole thing is when we originally edited the first cut, the director's cut, we loved it. Gave it to the agency, home run.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought, great job.
Yeah.
You know, like, way to go, guys. And then, as Noah mentioned, 7 months later, we were still editing it, so.
Right, and that brings me to timelines, okay? Got to discuss these clearly. You know, if they say, oh, you know, don't worry about it, you know, it might be, you know, we're not too concerned, we just need it by at least like next year sometime for our, whatever we need it for, an event or something. You know, don't just let that slide. I mean, do yourself a favor, give yourself a date. At least it gives you a completion date to get it off of your plate, but it also gives them a clear indicator that you will not be working on this well into next year. This is like, we shot this, here's your deadline, you got a couple revisions, and you know, factor that in, and then you're done by this date.
And if you, in this case, we were working with an agency, as I mentioned, that we've worked with before. So we didn't take a deposit up front because we didn't feel it was necessary. But if you're doing branded documentaries, because they can be longer projects, absolutely take half up front. Don't risk that, because you have to provide for your families as well and your employees. Right. So definitely do that as well.
Yep, and you stand firm on your pricing. You know, it doesn't hurt to be a little generous, but just a little generous, you know, they will take a mile.
Yeah, and also keep that relationship with them or the agency you're working with intact, even if you're going through like so many emails I did not send.
Get someone else to send your emails.
Yeah.
It might be best.
If you're editing, don't send emails.
Don't send emails.
All right. Yeah, drop a comment below and a thumbs up, all that stuff. We really appreciate it. Hopefully we can make more content as we get into the winter and things get a little slower. We'll try to keep this channel more active.
Yeah.
And give us some ideas if you want some more content. I'm thinking Canon R5C review after a few months of shooting it for documentaries, something like that.
Yeah, we beat it up. It's got some quirks.
Yeah.
We're ready to do that soon.
All right, later.